Well, welcome everybody to another episode of the Mike Gary Dan Show. Yeah, we're all crazy. Nothing silly today or anything. I've just been reflecting on things that have happened since I found God, and I just wanted to share a few things. I've been in Mason General now for 20 some years. I'm not sure how long. And in the past, people say, go on, move on, change is always good, work somewhere else is better, blah, blah, blah. And I don't know, this was just, again, I don't really plan, I want to do silly stuff, fun stuff, whatever, and then things always get changed up. So anyway, so I just, do you know where you want to be in your life? Your job, are you where you're supposed to be? Are you where God wants you to be, or just what you think you should be? Anyway, again, I'm going to ramble on here, I think. So I started jotting down, I was thinking through a timeline of my life. And as I started writing things down and looking at stuff, I realized God was there the whole time. No doubt about it. So anyhow, I'm going to run through a little kind of a quick timeline. You have to forgive me. I'm not good at this stuff. I'm going to do it anyway. So I got my quick little cheat sheets there. So I have God was always with me. And I have how I ended up where I am supposed to be, which is Mason General Hospital. My position, CNA, monitor tech, / helper. I'm a helper. That's what I call myself. So, starting with job, there's a pattern here you guys might notice. Obviously, there's reasons for it. My first job, when I was in high school and stuff, I was working at the little donut shop downtown. And believe it or not, right after pretty much graduating and stuff, that's when I ended up meeting Leanne and getting married, talked her into it. And then here I was working at the donut shop. I was making, I think $2.65 an hour at the time, raking in the bucks. She still married me. And then, wasn't shortly after that, I got fired. Yeah, I got fired. The new owner took over, and I don't know if he wanted to get rid of me or whatever, but suppose I got fired for forgetting to put a piece of cheese on a hamburger. Anyway, done and over with. So that was my first job, and I'm sure Leanne might have started having second thoughts around that point, but she didn't leave. She's still here. So moving along. So after that, I ended up had friends that worked at McDonald's. Told me I ought to go apply, so I did. Sure enough, I got hired at McDonald's. Worked there for 12 years. Worked my way. I think I've talked about this before. Worked my way up. Went through all the different schools. Was going to buy into one, and that kind of stuff. And then Leanne came down with kidney failure, and I got fired. See, there's a pattern here. So that's two getting fired. So I, had my girls were just little at the time, and thought it was the worst thing in the world. And all this is just leading up to what was meant to happen. So after working at McDonald's for 12 years, that's all I pretty much knew. I had a fellow I knew who helped me, got me on at the mill, Limbic Wood Products, and he took me out there and introduced me to the foreman. And I think I talked about this before, and he's just like, "What have you done?" I'm like, McDonald's, donut shop, and he just laughed. He's like, "There's no way, I'm not gonna hire you." And it was the Japanese mill at the time, and but I went ahead and went in and put in an application, and I think the fellow's name was Key. They ended up hiring me. Took a huge cut in pay down to $6 an hour. But I needed to work. I had kids to take care of, my family. I didn't get fired from that job. I did what it's like to get hit by a forklift and knocked about 10 feet. But anyway, so I worked there for quite a few years. Oh, 7 years, I think, 6, 7 years. Got on at Skookum Lumber. And, this is where I'm seeing God is with me all the time. At Olympic Wood Products, I didn't know what I was doing working in the mill. And anyway, they turned me over to that guy, the foreman, man. He tried to get me to quit. He tried to make me do all kinds of stuff because I didn't know what I was doing. But anyway, I stuck it out. But, yeah, I had some interesting experiences out there. But God, I was not Mr. Muscle. They put me up on the green chain, and I wasn't doing very good. And I ended up, I can't remember what the green chain, but I ended up popping my wrist. And it was supposed to be a temporary job. It was tagging all the loads with the staple gun and stuff, and then banding them as the forklifts brought them in. God got me into that position, and that worked out for me. So I did that until I ended up getting on at Skookum Lumber. And again, not Mr. Muscles. And they tried to stick me up one time on the great big wood and stuff. And the foreman saw me. He's like, get him down from there right now. So God kept watching over me. Again, I was able to survive, pay the bills. Finally, getting closer to where I'm at now, Skookum started laying off people left and right. And had a sister-in-law that was a nurse, and she was saying, well, you ought to get a job at CNA, become a nursing assistant and stuff. And so I don't know anything about that, but she said, go get on, apply one of the local places. So I did, went over to Fairlane. Of course, they hired me. All the guys at work were teasing me about I was going to look great in a dress. And anyway, so I worked there for only 9 months, and I didn't know much, but one of the gals that trained me was shooting her mouth off about working at the hospital. So I went over, looked, applied. Long story short, I ended up getting hired at Mason General. It's just crazy how things work. And going through this, jotting it all down, God's always had my back, my family's. So I am at Mason General working for, quite a few years. And then I, as I call it, basically got forced out. I'm not going to go into all details and stuff. Anyway, I needed to keep working because Leanne has a kidney transplant and stuff. I needed to keep the insurance going, and bless his heart, and Tom Dodonna and Sherry Curtis. I hope you guys don't mind me saying your names. I did anyway. Helped me out. I've been out of the work for, applying for jobs. I haven't applied for jobs in years, going through the interview process and stuff. And Sherry helped me whip out a resume, and Tom was coaching me on, the questions and stuff they'd be asking at the interviews, and he nailed it right on the head. Again, God had them in my life helping me. So I ended up getting on at St. Pete's. And during the interview process, I was supposed to be getting interviewed by one person. Then they just said, well, we're going to have other 5 managers that are going to interview you. Of course, I was in a panic mode. Seemed like it was an hour or so. But, made it through it and answered all their questions. And one lady was, this is all God. She said, well, they didn't hire me at the time, but she said, let me go show you around the floor and stuff. And turned out she was the one that hired me. But anyway, so she's showing me around, with the big smart boards up there on the wall and talking to me. And this nurse come walking up out of the blue and just, she stopped, interrupted her. And she says, are you thinking about hiring this guy? And I'm looking at her, I'm like, who is this lady? And my boss-to-be, she said, well, yeah, we're thinking about it. And this nurse just like, well, you better hire him. I used to work with them at Mason General. I'm like, what? And then it dawned on me it was a I don't know if she was a traveler, but she worked for us for a short while. Her name was Ginger. A wonderful lady. I mean, talk about perfect timing, which God has. So anyway, I got hired there, and I didn't want to be over there, but Leanne needed to keep the insurance going and all this stuff. Anyway, it all worked out. And then also, Tom talked me into it because I was teaching community CPR, and he said, "Well, hey, why don't you stay, PRN and help out, make a little extra money still, whatever." So yeah, sure, why not? Not realizing what a godsend that would be. So I do. What was I? Only a few months over at St. Pete's. Can't remember exactly how many now, but I ended up getting a call, and it was Arlene, and she's like, "Hey, you want to come back to work?" And I'm like, "Oh, that's a mean joke, She said, "No, they need somebody." And I said, "Well, I never wanted to leave in the first place." So I came back, and it was a different lady that was running the ICU at the time, not the one that let me go. Just saying that. Anyway, she hired me back, and with me keeping my PRN position, I didn't lose any thing from the hospital. I got to come back in at the same level that I was at. Again, God was there, and brought me back. And so I guess what I'm getting at is, this is where I'm supposed to be. For now anyway, until, I guess, probably forever until I quit working. I don't know, whatever God wants. But, people had said, go, become a nurse. And, anyway, I had written down, Gary had written down that we would have all made a great nurse, by the way. But doing what we're doing, I have to say we, because I got to go into my Gary thing. Anyway, this is what it's supposed to be. I love my job most of the time. Things aren't perfect. Very blessed to have been at the hospital for all these years. The people that I've worked with, pretty much everybody. I just have to say that. We all have our ups and downs. I'm sure, I'm far from perfect. Anyway, we're all human. I'm gonna stop there. I'm burying myself here. I'm gonna blame it on you, Gary. It's all Gary's fault. Like I said, everything's changed up. I had plans when I first started doing this stuff. It wasn't even about gardening. I was just wanting to mess around with my guitar and be silly, and so now I'm not sure whatever's gonna happen. So stuff like this randomly. So anyway, supposed to get you guys to like and subscribe on my channel so I can get more people, so I can start doing more stuff. I don't know. You don't have to. Wouldn't hurt though, just for the heck of it. And now, as Thanksgiving's coming up and stuff, and again, I think about being thankful for stuff, and I'm going to talk about my friend, and I hope he doesn't. I'm not going to, go into details a whole bunch. He's that's where I got all my great jokes. He's battling ALS. I've been visiting him now for about 2 years. This just has to do with being thankful for things, people. We all have stuff going on in our lives. Everybody. There's always somebody out there struggling. Probably worse than you. I don't know what everyone's going through, so I probably shouldn't say that. That didn't come out quite right. But my point is, be grateful for what you have. Don't take things for granted. I still finding myself at times taking, my eyesight. I've got closed angle glaucoma. I thank God I can still see. I can still walk. I can still talk. My friend, and can you imagine, this man worked so hard all his life. We went to high school together. Didn't really, that close or nothing. Worked at McDonald's. That's where we got all of our goofy jokes and stuff. And anyway, went in our separate ways, and anyhow, we reconnected. And I do believe it was God wanted this to happen. And he's blessed me, my friend. He's an amazing man. I was going to get through this without crying. A very hard situation that he's going through, and he's still positive, as much as he can be. Things are really setting in now. I think he said it was the 17th. It was his 4-year anniversary of being diagnosed with ALS. And can you imagine? He went in for just a routine, was the EGM test. We were going to check for carpal tunnel or whatever. And he was saying he had the test done, and the doctors just asked him, "Hey, do you have problems swallowing?" Because can be one of the first things with ALS. And he's like, "No," and they just, "Well, you have ALS." It's basically just a slap in the face. He thought he was going to go in, maybe have carpal tunnel surgery, wear a brace, and he was just flat out told he had ALS, an incurable disease. And, count your blessings, people. And it's getting tougher for him. He's got a challenging, to say the least, situation ahead of him. He's still, he feels bad people having to help him. He shouldn't. He deserves all the best care he can possibly get, just like anybody in his position should get. Yeah. I pray for him before I leave, and he prays for me and my wife, because she has issues and kidney transplant and stuff. He was a good man. Again, just count your blessings, people. Think of others. If you're grumbling because you don't have the latest phone or something, just think of other people, what other people are going through. Be thankful for what you have. Be thankful for your friends and family. If you don't believe in God, you should, you should. I'm not going to cram nothing down your throat, but yeah, nothing's saying it's going to be a perfect world. It's not. It's all in the Bible. It's all in the Bible. I was going to read a whole section out of here, but I can't do it right now. You guys take care. Bye.